like absolutely perfect. No problems at all. If you hadn't told me you was on a handheld, I wouldn't have known you was on a handheld.
Right guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well. So today, I want to talk about something interesting with this ID-52, Icom's new handheld. Now, I've been using this pretty much solidly since I got it last week. And as you know, you've seen from my video, I'm super impressed with it. It's an amazing little radio with the waterfall display, like you can see stations popping up as you're actually having a QSO. So it's much like using an IC-705, but just having it in your pocket. Obviously it doesn't do HF, but it does VHF and UHF. Now what's interesting about this radio, the conversations that I've been having on the air, no one knows that I'm using a handheld. No one can tell I'm using a handheld. Now normally, when I kind of fire up a handheld and have a conversation, whether it be on a repeater or whether it be like simplex talking directly, people sort of say, oh, your audio is really quiet. Oh, you know, it doesn't sound great. It's not happening on this. So I want to find out why. Right, so look at this, look at that waterfall. It's crazy. It's picking up the all the interference from my LED light. So one of the first things I do when I get a handheld is I go into the settings and look for something that allows me to increase the mic gain. So you can see here in the function menu, mic gain internal. Now what I've done with this is I've actually turned it up to the highest setting. And this is something I usually do with all my handhelds, just crank the mic gain. I don't usually do it on mobile radios or base station radios because you've got a hand mic. But with a handheld's internal mic, they're usually pretty rubbish. So I just crank it and it doesn't distort. It just usually just makes it slightly better. Not it appears on this radio. So I've got a few radios here, Retivis RD something or other, Yaesu's new FT5D and the old school Kenwood THF7, brilliant little radio. Look how small it is and receives HF as well. So on the Retivis, we've got a few settings you can change here, high power, see step, squelch, special reset, language. You know, you can go through and you can find something that might affect, you know, the modulation level on this radio. I think the only thing you can do is change the width. So hang on, keep going, bandwidth. So there you go. So this is set to wide. You can also set it to narrow or wide. That's it basically. And there are no other settings for mic gain. So there you go. That's as much as you can do on that radio. On the FT5D, you can go into menu, and I think it is in TX-RX, audio, mic gain. So there you go, hit mic gain, it's up as high as it goes, level 9. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna try all the different radios. The Kenwood won't actually allow you to set any, there's no menu option for mic gain, you're just stuck with what it's set to. So I'm going to test all three radios. I'm going to record them into the IC-705 and we're going to see what the difference is between the ID-52 and all the others, because the reports I've been getting saying the audio is absolutely brilliant. So that's surprising. I haven't had that report on this radio, put it that way. Right, so the 705's rolled in, it's recording to the SD card. I'm just going to grab each radio and just go through and see what happens. We'll listen to them at the end and just see what the difference is. So start with the Retivis. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Retivis. Next up the Kenwood. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Kenwood. Yaesu next. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Yaesu. And finally the ID-52. Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Icom. All right, let's listen to them back. So it's a great feature of the 705. You can record. Basically, all Icom radios now kind of have this feature. So you have to stop the recording first and then play back. Right, so this one is the first one, the Retivis.
Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Retivis.
I think it should go to the next one.
Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Kenwood.
So Kenwood sounds slightly better.
Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Yaesu.
Sounds a bit louder still.
Mike 6 Juliet Kilo Alpha testing on the Icom.
I mean, that's crazy. So yeah, that is really interesting. I mean, that explains a lot. Why is it just so much louder than the others? I mean, you could probably turn that mic gain down to like 2 and it'd still be louder than the other radios. And I tell you what, the audio sounds like the 705. If you ever heard somebody on a 705, there's got a certain characteristic about it. This radio sounds like a 705 on the VHF and UHF, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if they've done something with this mic. Obviously the microphone on the 705 is very small, you know, but it still provides a really punchy audio. Have they kind of just used a similar sort of thing to that in the ID-52? But whatever it is, it works really well. And that translates to your voice cutting through the noise. You know, if you're trying to get into a kind of net and it's a long way away, or you're trying to use this antenna, you know, because this antenna still seems to be pretty good actually, because I've managed to break into most conversations I can hear on this radio. So I'll just take this radio out. If I can hear it, most of the time I'm having success, unless they're miles away and running like 100 watts or something. I'm able to get back on this radio, where some of these other radios, you probably just hear a mush of noise because the audio is so low down that it's not actually kind of, you know, pushing anything out. We could get scientific about it and look at these audio files on the computer and just see, you know, exactly, you know, what the gain is on this radio versus the others. But I think it's safe to say this radio is going to get you some contact. I mean, if you start putting external mics on things, I know like a lot of, it's a standard thing to basically just get a hand mic and plug it into one of these radios, and it would probably improve things. That I haven't got any hand mics, I don't bother using them. Actually doing that might improve your signal because you've got a bit of a counterpush from the mic lead, or it might hinder it. This radio seems to work pretty well, as do the others as well, without, you know, a microphone. You're kind of coupled to it, so you're like the ground plane basically. But yeah, you probably could get around it on most radios by just getting an external mic. But for me, I just want to have one less thing, and having audio that actually kind of cuts through just straight off the bat. You know, you've only got to change a couple of settings and you're getting solid audio. One thing I will say as well is this audio doesn't kind of, it's not so loud that it's going to pick up everything else around you to the extent like it gets annoying in really noisy environments as well. Because I've had some tests with that, standing in a really busy car park, and you know, I did get reports that the audio is very, very good. So here's a little clip of that. And also that QSO I had, there was like someone honking their horn in the car park because they got stressed over Christmas probably. So yeah, anyway guys, I'll leave you with that clip. It's all interesting stuff in it. Hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you in the next one. Happy Christmas. Subscribe, do all the usual stuff. I'll catch you in the next one.
Anyway, yeah, wonder what the audio's like on this. I've been doing some tests for this radio, and it seems louder than most of the other handhelds I've got. Actually, from M6JKA.
M6JKA, G0AJ, and the audio's absolutely perfect. No problems at all. If you hadn't told me you was on a handheld, I wouldn't have known you was on a handheld. And it's not picking up much of the background noise either, which is good.